is bigger than me. AMC has 10,000 screens. They serve over 1 billion people.
This is a race issue. It's a human race. And we all have to play our part to ensure that those who suffer differently, able and disabled, with disabilities, are treated fairly and accommodated.
Nearly 1 year after that clip, a lawsuit is moving forward involving North Carolina Bishop William Barber and AMC theaters. Barber filed a federal lawsuit against the movie chain, claiming he was not allowed to use his own adaptable chair to watch a movie. Barber was eventually escorted out of that movie theater. Today, Queen City News anchor Savannah Rudisill and chief legal analyst Khalif Rhodes broke down what's new in this lawsuit.
So Khalif, Barber says that the crux of this case is that he tried to use his chair in the accessible seating section, but was told that he couldn't.
That's what the section is supposed to be made for. The American with Disability Act is there to protect all Americans, specifically folks that have disabilities. You got to think about it. Before the ADA Act was in place, you had places that didn't have wheelchair ramps. They didn't have accessibility for places like movie theaters, for airports, for going to school. And so you saw an influx of building ramps, for making sure you had separate seating places. You go to a concert, you have special places for folks to sit, because obviously they can't get up the steps to get to a chair. So that is what the ADA is in place for, specifically in situations like this. Now, the question is, does a person that's not in a wheelchair qualify to sit there? And I don't think it's specific to wheelchairs. I think if you have a disability, specifically a disability with walking or it's a disability with sitting, then you qualify under the ADA provisions to have some accountability, some accessibility made for you. So when looking at their lawsuit, I think they are spot on in terms of asking and trying to figure out why AMC denied him an opportunity to sit in that area, that designated sectioned off area, why he was escorted out of the location and taken out by police. Those are things that should not happen, even if you don't have a disability. But when you're in the right, it definitely shouldn't happen.
So the fact that the Greenville police got involved with this, they were the ones who escorted Barber out. Does that add another layer to this case? It
adds a couple different layers. I mean, he's in that space of an activist. He's been doing this for a number of years. When I was the chair of the Black Caucus, we brought him here to Charlotte. He spoke at one of our events. I mean, he's really committed to making sure that there's equal justice in our community, that social justice reforms are something that hasn't died off with the time. And so in situations where you have a person that's doing something that they're lawfully allowed to do, yes, it does add a layer where law enforcement is now called. But if you think about it, they're just doing their job. AMC calls and say, we have a person that's not doing what we want them to do. In their mind, they're responding to a trespasser. They get there. I think they probably could have de-escalated this situation and say, hey, you see this guy is trying to sit here. You recognize that he has some type of ailment. We need to figure it out. But AMC is not new to this. And I have to remind viewers of that. 2010, the United States government sued them and said, you guys aren't making enough required spaces for people with disabilities. What did they say? We'll settle the lawsuit and we'll do that. Take it back before there. 2006, they were sued before that for the exact same thing. So ensuring that they have made accommodations for people with disabilities is not new to AMC. This one has been amplified because of who the person is, but this is not a new territory for AMC.
And AMC put out a statement in response to this specific case saying that they do encourage guests who need that special accommodation to talk to a manager beforehand. Does that statement put them in any kind of way of less liability?
It doesn't. It doesn't at all. If you have a policy in place that requires a person when they purchase a ticket to now also do some extra incentive, I think that actually will go against what the American with Disability Act says, because you want to make sure those accommodations don't require any extra lift, any extra burden that's placed on the person that already has a disability. So yes, I think that it would probably hurt their case and not help it. I do like the statement that they're saying we want people to come in here. We go out of our way to make accommodations for folks. But saying that I have to notify them before, unless I'm saying I'm bringing a busload of 70 people and we all have issues, but if I'm one person, I think the American with Disability Act requires that I don't go out of my way as the person with a disability to do something extra to just get normal accommodations.
Well, Khalif, thank you very much. Certainly a case that we'll continue to follow.